Sonia Mahfouz on the call. Oh, we're recording. We have Sonia Mahfouz on the call, you guys. I'm so pumped. Welcome to Monday night. So fun to have you all here. Kudos to you for showing up on a Monday night, kicking off your week. We're thrilled that you're here with us. I'm going to keep admitting people from the waiting room. And for those of you who don't know Sonia, so Sonia and I met years ago at a UIA. I think it was Atlanta, right, Sonia? I think it was Atlanta. Maybe.
I don't even remember.
Or Phoenix or something. This is the
It was my first one. It was Phoenix because it was my first one.
So the power of these events, you guys, is you meet people that become like your battle buddies. Like you hang out and you do life and you do business together. And Sonia became that for me. Sonia has grown a massive, massive movement organization. This year alone, your organization has created what? 10 new execs? 10 new executives in the past calendar year. And she's going to talk about her story. What I love about Sonia is that she's always just really kept true to the system. She is 4-star Golden Circle, 8-star Crystal Executive, so 8 personally enrolled executives, and 18 within her organization. Okay, so I'm excited, Sonia, for you to introduce yourself, share your story, share the early days. What did it look like when you said yes to Isagenix? And then we'll kind of get into some of the good stuff.
Yes. Well, I am so happy to be here, Allison. You know how much I love you. And there are so many women on this call and on this team. I love to see both Michelle's and Barbie and Julie and Gretchen. I have so many amazing friendships in this team. Lori. So it is an honor to be here. So my Isagenix story, some of you know it, but I know this is being recorded, so I'll go through it. I started Isagenix exactly 6 years ago. And at the time I was a tired mom of a 2-year-old. I was literally walking around life like a zombie. And that's what I was experiencing just among my mom friends. Like everybody was so tired. And I thought that was normal. I was struggling to lose those last 15 to 20 pounds, even though I felt like I was doing all the right things. I was working out, I was meal prepping, eating clean, doing all the things that had worked before kids, but were a lot more challenging after kids. And Leo was almost 2 years old, and I just felt so frustrated with my body. I just wanted to feel good in this mom body of mine. And I was working as a school psychologist, a career that I loved. I was literally like the poster child of school psychology. I always had interns. I taught at the local university. Like I loved my career. And I thought I was going to do that for the rest of my life. But as maybe you can imagine, or maybe you've experienced as a new mom, I definitely started to have those moments of just wanting more time, and more than anything, just wanting more choices. The life of a school psychologist is leaving your house at 6:30 in the morning, typically when your kids are sleeping. You commute, or this is what it was for me. I was commuting 45 minutes each way. And I was a school psychologist at a high school. So if a crisis happened, I was then stuck there for a good 12 hours. And there was literally days that I would come home and see my baby for 30 minutes. And then it was bedtime, and that was it. And it felt really out of alignment for me that I was a school psychologist, probably the best person that could be educating my own baby. Yet I was leaving him with a nanny to go help other kids with their mental health needs. So that really felt out of alignment. And so, yes, deep inside, I never said it out loud because I'm also just one of those super like all in people. Like I love to love what I do. And so it was really hard to have these feelings inside. And I literally, like, I think the only person that knew that I was starting to really hate my job was my husband. That was it. Other than that, everyone else thought Sonia loves being a school psychologist. Like, this is what she loves. And yes, I had moments of like, I've told Allison so many times, I literally would just lay in bed at night and I was like, this can't be it. Like, I can't imagine this is going to be my life for the next 20, 30 years. I thought I had worked so hard to build this career, and my husband's an attorney. And I definitely felt like we had done all the right things in life, and then felt like this is not very dreamy. This is just not, this can't be it. So those were all the things that were going on. Isogenics fell on my lap via my best friend, Catherine. And I thought just for the nutrition, I was certainly not looking for a network marketing opportunity by any means, nor did I think that it would be for me. I definitely was super snooty about it. My Laura Stevens happened to be at the launch party that I went to learn about Isogenics, and good thing she was, because she talked about the business. And I literally laughed at her. I was like, I am a school psychologist. My husband's an attorney. Like, we are not going to sell shakes. But I heard her story. And if you know Laura, you know she's very passionate about the business. And this is what she said that intrigued me. Like, it's so simple. She literally said, I watched my best friend, Kelly Dicker, who's become an Isogenics millionaire in 3 years. And I'm excited to do the same in 2 years, because this was about 18 months in. And I just thought, what on earth are we talking about here? I thought I was coming to learn how to lose 10 pounds. And this girl's talking about this girl being a millionaire and she's going to do the same. And as snooty as I was, and I mean, you can ask Laura, I think I was like the hardest product user she's ever had, like in her entire organization. I almost sent everything back like 10 times the first week. But as snooty as I was, her sharing that part of her story just like stuck with me. And I remember literally what she was wearing. Like, it was a summer day, June 30th, because I signed up July 2nd. She's wearing this cute little like romper. Actually, I'm wearing a romper today. She's wearing this cute little romper, and she had like her hair like in a side braid. And I thought, I would never be allowed to wear that to work. Like, we had such a strict like work like dress code, but I was like, I would love to just roll into work in a cute little romper. So it was like just these little things about, and I just remember thinking like, I can do what she does. Like, I can roll into my friends' houses and talk about shakes and talk about money, but I didn't say anything. And my husband and I just started using Isogenics. We had an amazing product experience, literally day 5. Well, cleanse day, we almost returned like 10 times. I thought it was like, I had like such a hard cleanse day. And I kept just looking at those Facebook like groups, like this person's cleansing and that. And I'm like, okay, mind over matter. Like, I'm going to do this. All these people can do it, right? That's why those Facebook groups are so important. But the day after our first cleanse, we both woke up. We felt like we swallowed a rainbow. And we just thought, well, this is really easy. Like, having a shake for breakfast is really easy. Like, there was just so many things to the system that we were like, we will be product users for a long time. We can see how this works. And of course, the business part was there. And so here's a couple clues. For one, Laura talked about the business from the very beginning. She's very business heavy. She showed me the comp plan from the very beginning. I heard about the big money, you guys, and that's the part that I've always stressed to my team. And that is the part that really has been the secret sauce, I think, especially this last year, is moving away from just talking about referral bonus money and really talking about the long-term opportunity, really talking about residual income, really talking about life-changing money. Because had I only heard about referral bonuses, you guys, and I'm just going to be really honest, and this might sound super snobby, but I was not going to move for a $25 referral bonus. Like, I was just not. Like, I was not going to learn how to enroll someone. Like, none of that. I would have been like, you do it. I could care less about $25. But it was the big money that got me thinking. So I really want to encourage you, when you're talking about Isogenics, just really moving away from just talking about referral bonuses. Like, talk about both. Like, here's the referral bonuses, but I'm really excited about the residual income. I'm really excited about paying off my student loans. I'm really excited about having an extra retirement account, like whatever it is, you know, like always be honest, always be authentic. You guys, I was talking about maxing out our compensation plan, like Barbie talked about, and I had only made $150. But I was talking about the future. I was saying, once I caught the vision, I was saying, I'm going to earn six figures in this company. I'm going to replace my school psychologist income. I wasn't lying. I wasn't saying I had done it. If anybody asked me how much money I had made, I would tell them, but I was talking about the big money, the life-changing money. So that's a clue. Laura put me in her team business pages, even though I told her I wasn't interested in the business. So that's another clue. A lot of people are always like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to scare them with the business. You guys, if they don't like it, they can take themselves out. So I put everybody in our business pages. I treat everybody like a business builder until they make it crystal clear that they're definitely not interested. And so that was the other part that Laura did that kept me thinking, because then it was like she became my Facebook friend. So remember, Laura was a stranger to me, by the way, you guys. I'm 4 levels down from her. So she was a stranger to me. She became Facebook friends with me in that moment. She added me to all the team pages, including the business page. And she herself was the one that invited me to, hey, come to the Super Saturday. Hey, come to this event. Like, she didn't wait for the people in between us to do it. She just did it herself. And in those business pages, I kept seeing people getting paid and making money. And I was like, okay, it's not just this cute little blonde girl. There was like other people making money. And then I could relate to other people's stories. You know, I couldn't relate to Laura because she was a military wife, stay-at-home mom. So I couldn't really relate to her story. But I could relate to, for example, Lindsay Hofber, who's an optometrist, and her husband's an anesthesiologist. I felt like education-wise and career-wise, they were more similar to where Rich and I were at. So where I was seeing her success, and when I saw her leave her career, her optometrist career, I could relate to that. I could say, oh, well, gosh, if it was good enough for her, why wouldn't it be good enough for me? Like I need to take a look, right? So those are some of the things. So I kind of went all over the place, but those were the things that kind of kept my mind open, but I didn't dare say it out loud to anybody. And then Laura kept inviting me to like Super Saturdays, and I literally wouldn't even respond. I was like, I'm trying to work less, not more. Like, this girl thinks I'm going to go spend my Saturday 8 hours with her. Like, no way, wouldn't even respond. And then it just so happened that Celebration 2015 happened to be in San Diego. And she was very persistent that I needed to be there. And I thought, like, she is nuts. Like, why would I go to a training on something that I'm really not interested in? And she literally was like, you're going, I have a ticket for you here. Like, here's your ticket or whatever. And then our other friend in between, who is in my upline, was like, you know, that's a $250 ticket. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why would she spend $250 on me? You know? So then I felt like I had to go because she spent that money on me. And so I went for I literally said, I will go for 3 hours. I stayed for 3 days. I kept coming back. And it really was that event that did it for me, because I just saw so many people, so many stories, so many people that look like me, so many people that didn't look like me, you know, and I was just like, gosh, if they can figure this out, I can figure this out. And I just came out of that event like ignorance on fire. And really, I just fell in love with the life of a network marketer. I wanted choices. I wanted time freedom. It wasn't, and I wanted to just replace my income, but do it on my terms. I wanted to do it from home. I wanted to do it with my babies. I wanted to work when I want, not work when I don't want. And then, yeah, once the vision was painted, then it was just ignorance on fire.
Oh my gosh. I love that. There are so many good nuggets there, you guys. Like, for starters, you are like four PET from Laura, right? So Laura's inviting, I'm sure, Michelle and Catherine and people, but it's like, she's not She's the one showing up at the launch party to find the gems. She's the one being relentless with her vision, sharing what she's doing and finding the gems, not trying to turn people who aren't ever going to get it, but finding the ones who are, like you. And Sonia now is like her number 2 income earner consistently in Laura's entire organization, right? And then when you were kind of snooty, or you say snooty or snobby towards her, did she waver? Was she like, did she back down, or did she just stand firm and confident in her posture?
Yeah, she was so confident in her posture. And I think there is something to be said about, maybe it's easier with strangers. And I find that myself within my own organization. Like, she literally had no idea about anything in my life. So
it was nothing to lose.
She had nothing to lose. It was just Laura Stevens being Laura Stevens. But I think she's like this even when she does know you, because her passion, her posture, her confidence around Isagenix and about network marketing is so strong. Like, there's just no way that you don't at least take a look, because it's just like, this girl is either like nuts or like, I should just take a look, right? So yeah, so much about just the posture and the confidence and also being persistent. I have all the messages of her. Like, I looked through them the other day because I was like curious, like what those beginning days were like. It's like crickets. Like, what does this girl think? I'm going to go to a super Saturday. Why would I spend my Saturday at anything business related? But she was so persistent.
Yeah. Good. I love that. And just digging deep. I think finding your people, but then digging 1, 2, 3, 5. It's so powerful. That's the power of our comp plan. Like, other companies don't have that, right?
No.
And then you talked about especially this year. So like, what do you feel like, Sonia, because you've had a mega year. You've had, qualifying for Leader in Action and all the events, top achievers type stuff. What are you doing right now? What has happened that has shifted you into this new season of just explosion?
Yeah. So, I think for one, I just want to be really honest that the first 2 to 3 years were great. And I was ignorance on fire. I had no idea what I was doing, but it was working. And I really do think it was just posture and confidence. And that was infectious. And people were like, she either lost her mind or there's something here. So let's take a look. And it was messy. And I definitely didn't have systems in place. And it was just like, the blind leading the blind. And it worked for a while. And then around like year 4 or so, and I think everybody experiences this in Isagenix, definitely the dust settles. And, some people stay, some people go. The excitement kind of wears off for a lot of people. And I really felt like this is either going to make me or break me. Am I going to keep going? Have I just like, have I like done all that I was going to do? And maybe this is it, and then I also had a lot of life happening. I was trying to get pregnant for 2 years. And so that had become a new priority in my life, just really wanting to have another baby. And then I got pregnant. And once I had him, I told my team, I was like, this is probably my last baby and I just want to enjoy him. And like, I'm a phone call away, but I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm not traveling. I'm not doing launch parties. Basically, it was kind of like what pandemic year has been like, but back, 2-3 years ago. And so that year I just kind of rode on cycles. And you guys, I probably maybe enrolled like a handful of people, maybe. That's even like exaggerating. And my team kept going, which was great. But it was 2 parts. For one, it was the fact that I could make that kind of choice and decision and all on my own. I didn't have to ask anybody for permission or anything. And at the end of the year, even though it was my lowest year in Isagenix, I still made more money than I would have if I went to work as a school psychologist every day. And if that doesn't like re-enroll you, I don't know what does, because I remember like the end of the year, we meet with our financial planner, we're going through all the things. And I'm having this moment of like, I'm upset because I just had my worst year in isogenics, but oh yeah, I haven't really worked all year, and then, Allison, Rich always calls me out on things, and Rich would be like, I know what your day looks like, and you still made more money than my attorneys that work for me. So I don't want to hear it. So then after that, it was like, okay, I know what to do. I know exactly what to do. I just need to go do it again. And it was just really reflecting on like what I saw working and what I saw not working. And I think that maybe you guys can relate to this, because we all came out of a year that maybe you feel like your team hasn't really had community, or you haven't seen each other or whatnot. And that's what I experienced Celebration in Nashville 2019. And so I came out of that event and I was like, I know what to do. I just need to get back. I need to get my community back together. I need to start doing some events again. And I just need to make things super systematic for our team and just like make it as easy as possible. And also take ownership of some leader roles that I think in the past, we want everyone to do everything, right? And you can have this like feeling of like, why isn't someone else leading the team calls? Or why isn't someone else planning the 30-day challenges? Like, I feel like it's always me. And I also just like decided to take ownership of some of those things and make a decision. Like, I get paid really well to have one team call a week and have a challenge every month, so there was just systematic things that I took ownership as a leader and never expected for my team to do, because it was easy things that I could do that my team could leverage, instead of expecting for all the leaders to have all their challenges and all those things. So came back to San Diego and I started, I guess, rebuilding, although I know Zach Slobin says it's not rebuilding, it's just keep building. But I came back to San Diego and I started putting some events together. So every first Saturday of the month, I started doing like some themed things like donuts and dreams, or we had like a pizza night, the perfect part-time pizza night, like just like some fun things. And I just started telling my team, like, bring your team, bring your people, all that. I knew I had to build community. And I also knew that there was a lot of people on my team in my downline that had not really been exposed to like how to build isogenics or the systems that we had in place. So I also had to like bring the community back together so that I could have like one-on-one opportunity to find those gems and to be like, oh, I need to like really work with this person. One of the other things that I did during that fall was I did put together a Super Saturday. We had not had a Super Saturday in our area for a while. So again, just one of those things of like stepping into leadership, and instead of being like, we never have an event in town, it was like, okay, well, it was my first Super Saturday I had ever done. And I remember I tried to talk myself out of it so many times, it's like, what am I doing? And I chose some other isogenics friends to come out and help me. And it was very strategic, just based on what I felt like I needed, and also based on what I felt like my team needed, like who they needed to hear from, or the people that I feel like they relate to. So I had them be the presenters for Super Saturday, and that really helped. So those were kind of some of the things that I got going to just get like community back, get people excited, hearing all those stories, And then the big thing, which I've been training a lot about, is I became super systematic on having everybody do, we call it like an initial consultation Zoom. It became a Zoom call. But just being really systematic about how we're getting people started in isogenics. And it's three things. And the reason why I did this was because I had a moment where I was like, how come every time someone gets in front of me, they're in our team forever? They catch the vision and they're in our team forever. But I didn't see that duplicating. I definitely was feeling like it happens when they're in front of me, but it's not always happening. And so I would ask different people on my team, like, well, did you tell them about the comp plan, or did you talk about the business? And it was always like super vague. Like they thought talking about the comp plan was telling them about a $25 referral bonus, or just I was like, no, that's not it. There's so much more. And so I really pushed on everybody that anytime people wanted to learn about isogenics, they had to do these three things. And we do it on a Zoom call. First of all, it's you share your isogenic story. And that seems so elementary, but you'd be surprised. Like people, or the isogenic story is like all over the place and people have a hard time following it. Literally Google isogenics 30-second story, and it literally tells you exactly what to say. I still can't get mine to 30 seconds. I'm lucky if I get it under 2 minutes, but it's much better than my original 45-minute isogenic story that I used to tell 6 years ago. So just being really concise on like, okay, this was the problem, introduced isogenics by my friend, this is the solution. And then what do you believe now, right? Your conviction statement. So always sharing your isogenic story. Second part, then I always say, okay, now let's talk about you. What are your goals? What got you interested in wanting to learn more about isogenics? In the perfect world, what would you love to see happen in your health? So this is when people are like, I wish I could lose 10, 15 pounds. That's like normal. Or I want more energy. I want to sleep better. I want to be able to play with my kids, whatever that is. And then I have them walk me through their day. I'm like, okay, what are you doing for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, Starbucks run, vitamins, supplements? And the idea is that you're having them give you their goals, and then you're having them think about what they're doing for food, and then what they're spending on food. So I say, what are the 2 meals that you could see yourself easily replacing with isogenics? Or I say, what's your favorite meal of the day? Most people enjoy having dinner with their family, and breakfast and lunch is kind of just survival mode. So then I'm like, perfect. Like we're going to replace breakfast and lunch with our isogenic superfood shakes. And so once they've told me their meals, their budget, all of that, then I introduce the pack that is going to help them reach their goals and is within their budget. So like 9 times out of 10, it is the value pack, because 9 times out of 10, people tell me they want to lose 10, 15 pounds. They tell me they're already spending $20 per day on breakfast, lunch, snacks, that Starbucks run. So it's a super easy. I have the perfect system for you. It's $20 per day. It's what you already told me you were spending on food. It's going to have your breakfast shake, your lunch shake, your vitamins, your snacks, all that. How does that sound? And then I just take the order. I don't hesitate. Like I literally go like, okay, are you okay with dairy or plant-based? Would you like chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry? If you hesitate, they hesitate. If you just go and take the order and they're uncomfortable, then they'll stop you. I promise. And then the third part, I always end with, I'm so excited to get you started with isogenics. I know you're going to love it. Let me show you how I turned my everyday food money into an income producing asset for my family. No one stops me, you guys. Literally, like nobody has ever stopped me when I said that. Hold on.
Yeah, pause. This is so good.
That's way different than me saying, do you want to do the business with me? Or do you want to sell shakes with me? Like I don't say anything like that. I just say, I'm so excited to show you how I turned my everyday food money into an income producing asset. And they're just like, ooh, okay, that's exciting. I always have a whiteboard with me. Like literally, you can see it.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Can you see it? Yeah. So I always have a whiteboard with me. And then I just focus on 2 things. I always say, we get paid at Isogenics many different ways. I'm going to focus on 2. I'm going to focus on short-term referral bonuses and long-term residual income. So I literally map out just to Crystal Manager, and I start having them think about who are the 2 people you love the most and whatnot. And then the next part is I talk about the residual income. I talk about as you continue to help people get started with Isogenics, and as those friends also tell their friends about it, you're going to build a network of friends and family who are loving Isogenics, and you get paid not only on those initial orders, but you get paid on all the reorders and all of those friends reorders and all of those friends reorders. So I want them to understand, because most people think it's just retail, you guys. Most people think you just get paid in that initial order, and they think they're going to have to be sellers forever, right? And so people say no. I say this all the time, and I said it at Celebration. People say no, N-O, because they don't know, K-N-O-W. So the reason why we do that consultation the way that we do is that at the end of that phone call, I just want to know that I showed them all the things, that they know what's available. They've heard my story. They know that we are just reallocating food money into Isogenics. So that way they're not having any issues about spending extra money on food, and that they know what's available with our comp plan. Because literally what keeps me up at night, you guys, and not so much anymore, because I think we're doing better, but what used to keep me up at night was thinking like, I might have a gem in my downline in my organization that doesn't know about the Isogenics compensation plan. And if they knew, they would run with it. Like, that's literally what used to keep me up at night. And so at least now I feel like we have so many executives doing this that I'm like, okay, it's going to be easier to catch them, because there's so many of us who, I mean, you could pretty much talk to any of the executives on my team, and most of them are doing this. They are doing the Zoom call and all of that. To be honest, so this was one of those like ideas that I was like, we're going to do this, and I'm going to start training my team on it. And I got a conference room to train them on this, and I made binders, like all the things. And they were like kicking and screaming for 6 months. Like, it was one of those things where like in the training, they're like, this is great. And then like a month later, 2 months later, I would be like, are you doing the initial consultation? Oh, well, no, like all the, and I'm like, So it was 6 months of kicking and screaming, and like, but I just kept doing it. Like, I kept doing it. I kept doing it. And then of course, what happened was I was having success with it. And so they were like, oh, maybe she's on to something. And it was May 2020. It was in that Crystal Executive Reset time. And 4 of our leaders who had been stuck at manager for years, I don't know if they all got together and decided to do this, but it literally worked out that way. Like, all of a sudden they started actually implementing the Zoom call, and like, kind of like, okay, let's see if this works. And 4 of them hit executive in that, literally in a month, like in June. And it was like, just like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it was like, okay, well, now we have proof that it works. And then after that, then it was like more people bought in, and then they were like, okay, maybe we should really do this. And then we went on to have 6 more executives total after that. So we have the numbers to support it. And I think that really has been the secret sauce this last year. I know that was a very long answer.
No, it's good. You guys, like the secret sauce, like she talked about it. And some people went kicking and screaming. They weren't sure if it would work. They just gave it a go. I love it so much. So, and we do have people on here who are like brand new. They're just getting started. So, and you obviously, Sonia, have new people. I have 2 questions left for you. So, and then we'll wrap up. But what is your best advice for the new person? If I'm new and I'm like, okay, Sonia, I get it. I see the vision. I want to do this. What do I do?
Yeah. So I literally say, okay, put together your dream team of 10 and get them on the phone with me for a 3-way Zoom call.
Yep.
I will do this exact consultation that I just did with you. You have to be on the phone. And you just watch. And so I do set the expectation, like, I don't just want their referrals and then like I do all the work, because that's not residual income, you guys. That's just working for other people. You're not working for your downline. Let's be real. So I tell them, I'm like, I will do all the work, but you need to be on the call. The expectation is that you're going to learn how to do this. So you're going to take notes and whatnot. And I tell them, like, we'll do a couple, and I know that you'll feel comfortable within a couple, and then you'll be on your own. And I just match them where they're at. Like, I've had some people who, like, we do 2 or 3 and they're like, I'm good. Like, I got this. I've seen what you've done. I can do this. I've had other people who have had us on 16 Zoom calls in like 1 week, but it's paid off, and that's okay too. So if it's working and people are enrolling and people are getting excited, of course I'm going to keep doing it, so that's the best advice. And then from doing that, you guys, so of course, the more that we did it, the faster we were popping executives, the more momentum and all that. Right. So then fall 2020, we had Cami Smith hit Crystal Executive in 5 weeks. And we literally did this. Like, we were like, dream team of 10, get them in front of us. We will do all the work. We will teach you how to do this. And it was Christy DeLeon. She is his enrolling sponsor. But he did get us on the Zoom call with 16 people in about 10 days. And out of those 16, 13 bought value packs. Out of 13, 10 became consultants. Out of 10, 6 became manager and above. And out of those 6, 4 became executives. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, would you do 16 Zoom calls to have those kinds of, and then what happened, which is really cool, because Christy and I were in all of those Zoom calls with his dream team, we were then building relationships with these dream team people. And then we're like, well, now let's run you, right? And we were able to find those gems. And Ruthie Pena is one of them, which I know many of you know. Kendra Trash, she's another one. Who else? Fatima.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing, right? And then because Cami did it, then we had this other girl join. Her name is Lori Colantuno, and she thought that was normal because she literally joined like November 1st, like as this was happening. And so she just went and became Crystal Executive in 5 weeks as well. And I remember like a week later, she's like, oh, I thought it was normal because since Cami was doing it, I thought that was normal. And I'm like, sure, yes. All Crystal Executives in 5 weeks. Kendra went on to do the same. She became Crystal Executive in 6 weeks. So dream team, get them on a Zoom, you do it, they're learning, you are building rapport with their team, and then you can do it with them too, because guess what? If Lori or Cami decide to stop building tomorrow, Ruthie's not going anywhere. We've built a relationship with her. Like, maybe she's the gem, like you just never know. Like, you're going to find all these gems, and then you're just solidifying and building those relationships with dream team people.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so powerful. And it shows the limits we put on ourselves, like, oh, can I really do that? Can I ever be executive? But the
other thing I will say, Ruthie Pena did Isogenic 7 years ago and loved it. And no one ever told her about the business.
Yeah. So where do we have gems in our, it's totally. And then a side question to that, still part of this question, Cami, he wasn't really posting on social media. How did he invite these people to Zoom?
He literally was like, hey, I think I found something. You need to take a look at this.
So picking up the phone, I mean, I remember it was powerful talking in Vegas, his story. He's like, I picked up the phone and called Kendra. I picked up the phone and called Ruthie. I picked, so as opposed
and he was
to
just like, you need to get on the phone with these girls.
Like
I think I found something.
They'll go over your questions. Yeah. So powerful. So good. Okay, Sonia, we can wrap up here. My final question, what are you most excited about now? Like, what do you think about long term? Like, what excites you for the next 5, 10, 50 years?
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
5 years, whatever you want to talk about. What is on your heart that excites you now?
I mean, you guys, I just feel like for all of us old school people who used to have to take social security numbers to get orders, like Isagenic's business has never been easier. Like, I mean, I hate to be that old timer of like back in the old days, it was so much harder, but it really was like 6 years ago. It was, we needed social security numbers just for orders. Like, that's insanity. And we still reached executive and all the things, right? So what I'm most excited about, I really think that it's the right place, the right time, the right company. I think that, I mean, how wonderful to be a part of a company that is so solid and so strong.
Mhm.
And they have all the systems in place. We have all, like, it really is plug and play.
Yeah.
But you need to decide what your system is so that you can give it to other people. And that's the other part that I will really stress. Had Cami Smith come to me 5 years ago, I was not ready for him. I was not ready for him 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I had to do my own work within myself, within my systems, professionally, all the things. And there was a year of kicking and screaming. I mean, I probably did hundreds of Zoom calls before I got in front of someone like Cami.
Yeah.
So also just committing to that, like committing to just do it, and the right people will show up, and you just need to keep doing it, keep getting in front of people. And so that you're ready for them, because I'll tell you what, and Cami has told me this a million times, he has always said, as I was getting to know you, I was also asking myself, like, this is what Cami has said to me, that he was also asking himself, like, do they have the systems in place? Can I plug and play here? I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to do more work. I mean, Cami's a businessman who has built huge teams for the last 20 years. He knew what he was looking for.
Mhm.
And so do you have that in place? You know, like if a diamond fell into your lap tomorrow, do you know what to do with them? Or are you going to be scrambling? Because if you're scrambling, they're probably not going to do business with you, you know?
Yep.
So I think, like, just go practice, fall forward. It's going to be messy. And then when the right person shows up, you'll have like hundreds of hours under your belt.
Yeah, totally. All of the Zoom calls. If you're doing Zoom calls with no fruit, consider it the practice for the future that's coming. I love that, Sonia. And you did say, and I put it in the chat, but you said, I fell in love with the life of a network marketer, which I just think is powerful. That's what, you love the life of a network marketer, the perfect part-time you talk about. And if you don't follow Sonia on social media, she's so powerful in her messaging with that. So I would say unapologetic, your posture, your confidence, and then just the action behind it. So we all love you here. We can leave it there, but everyone just show Sonia some love in the chat. I know she's taking time out before her evening with her boys, and there have been times in her journey where she's like, I don't know, Allison, I don't know if I'm, the ups and the downs, and we've been together through the downs, and the ups only come by working through the downs, and like, imagine if you would have missed all of this.
Oh, and can I just share one more thing?
Yeah.
And I know Allison knows this because we talk all the time. And maybe this will just give you hope, because there are it's not rainbows and unicorns, you guys. I have had people that I thought were going to be amazing quit as well. But right before Cami showed up and all of this incredible momentum showed up, I ran a high school friend to Crystal Executive in, I want to say like 10 weeks. This was her third time giving Isagenix a go. And she made $10,000, lost 25 pounds. I thought, like, she was in it to win it forever, right? I was like, this is it. Third time's a charm. She hit executive. She lost 25 pounds. She made $10,000. Like, clearly she's here forever, right? And July 2020, she went MIA and like literally like never spoke to me again. Yeah. And I was like, what on earth is happening? Like literally 2 weeks before, she was like, I think I'm going to quit my job. I'm just going to do Isagenix. And I was like, no, don't quit your job. Like, keep that going. Like, I'm not one to push people to leave their day jobs easily. And then literally just went totally MIA, like dropped consultant status, you guys. Like, come on, how do you go from executive to that? And that was definitely another wall kicking moment, and just a moment of like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. This is so disheartening. But then look, like I see that now as just practice, because that running her to executive is actually what solidified our system.
Yeah.
Because she was kind of that first experiment. And then I was like, ooh, this works. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again, you know? And so it was just like, okay, that was just a part of my practice to get ready for these other people who would really run with it.
For sure. And everything's always working in your favor. And now you're doubling, more than doubling this year, right? I mean, making more than a full-time income, more than multiple six figures, just rocking it. So
crazy.
So good, you guys. Sonia, thank you so much. Seriously.
Yes.
This adores you. We appreciate you spending some time with us. And yeah, have a good night, everyone.
Oh my God.